Hello out there, and welcome back to Presidential Speculatainment with me, Danny Winslow. This week, we've got the one and only Bobby Jindal out there making his first hoof tracks on the campaign trail. And I will say, looking like $1 million Super PAC bucks. Now, do keep in mind that $1 million of Super PAC money is chump change. Or should I say, Trump change. Because, let's just admit it, $1 million, that is pocket change for Donald. But Donald does not make the honor roll on this episode of Presidential Speculatainment, because that very special honor will go to Bobby Jindal. So without further ado, all right, so who saw Bobby Jindal's video announcement thing? It was groundbreaking. It really was. I mean, love it or hate it, I've never seen that done before. And that, okay, so for those of you who didn't see it, you can check it out. I think it's on Facebook, because that's hip. So Bobby, he spied on his kids. Well, hold on, let me see if I can describe it a little better. So Bobby and his wife, they called a meeting. This is me speculating, but somehow Bobby, his wife, and their 3 kids, 2 sons, 1 daughter, all ended up on some kind of a back porch. Now, this gathering was captured on what appeared to be a hidden camera that looked like it was up in a tree or some kind of rafter. It was what they would, I guess, call, like film school, a bird's eye view of the meeting. It appeared that the kids did not know this was going on. In any case, it's a very quick 1-minute video, and the video was a little off. I gotta say, Bobby, it was a great idea. And I think that politically, it's a good move to kind of take a road nary traveled by a politician, and instead of releasing a Twitter video saying, are you ready for me? Or just making a big announcement at some kind of a rally. But rather than that, he filmed the conversation in which he broke the news to his kids. And I really think in theory that's a great idea, because it shows that you put family first, and you're not just going to write off your kids, not just on your taxes, but as collateral damage from the campaign trail, as they ultimately could end up getting sort of psychologically scarred for life and that type of thing. But to show that, I'm gonna consult with them first. My family is the most important thing to me. Number 2 is my political career, but family's number 1. So, Bobby, I like where your head was at. Now, what happened? Well, the meeting was, you could call it underwhelming. The kids really did not step up into the role. They really were not helping him out. Bobby, that is. So anyways, he tells them. It was just funny, though, how Bobby and his wife explained how it was going down. They're like, all right, now before we, announce publicly about this decision, we wanted to talk to you guys first. So, long story short, now that we have you here, kids, we're running. We're going to do it. And then right after Bobby says that, his wife goes, so how do you feel about it? Or she's like, so what do you guys think about that? Or something. It was just funny. It was like, it's like she could have opened with that. And then he could have kind of told them, I don't know. It was clear that they had zero, ability to influence the decision. But everybody knew that already. So, but their reaction looks like they had expected it. And, anyway, so then, but they were somewhat stoic, I guess. And then Bobby Jindal was like, if you behave yourself, maybe I'll take you to Iowa with me. And it was like, all right. Again, no real reaction from the kids. Verbally at least. And then Bobby asks his kid, so what do you like about Iowa? And then he's just like, popcorn. And they couldn't think of anything else. And then the only other thing Bobby could remind him about Iowa was that he had eaten a candy bar there. And that seemed to excite one of the sons a little bit. So I guess that's your standard reaction for asking what you like about Iowa, or because they had gone there before, I guess. But anyways, so what kind of VIP, program is that for Bobby to offer the grand prize of getting to travel to Iowa? I mean, out of all the places that you get to go as a presidential candidate, that your dad gets to go to, and the access that he gets, and he's telling them that they can go to Iowa if they behave. That's it. That's all they get. I mean, they're not going to see their dad for a year. He's going to be, meeting with the pollsters, 6 hours a day. And he did say, yeah, we're going to be busy. We are going to be busy. This does change things. That was kind of it. And the video ended. But listen, I think what Bobby and his wife should have done is they should have, asked the kids if they would go on camera, and then just have a camera there, and make it more obvious. It was just weird. It gave off the impression that the kids didn't know that this was going to become capital for the campaign launch. And I don't know. I guess every parent is entitled to, embarrass their kid on some level, or kind of trick them, or, manipulate their beliefs, right? Everyone who decides to reproduce does have that discretion on some level, but it still was just, like I said, it was off. It just didn't, I don't think, go as well as Bobby had envisioned, because he has described himself as a visionary type of, policymaker. Anyway, so I'll give it a C for effort on the whole thing. Anyhow, so then I saw a couple clips from his speech when he announced, and yeah, I don't have any news to report from that, except that Bobby Jindal, right after he announced that he wanted to be president, he did a smile, but showed none of his teeth. No teeth were shown. It was a total closed-lipped smile. And I was just bewildered, just so curious. What emotion is just coursing through the Jindal veins at this moment that can inspire such a face? And he's got quite an ability. I mean, I think out of all the candidates, he might have one of the best abilities in facial expression and that sort of thing. It seems very like he's got like a big range, kind of like a Steve Martin face. But I got no problem with Bobby getting in the race. I think he's got to spice things up. And no, that was not an Indian food joke. But I was gonna say, just to give a little background, this is a very interesting candidate, and he's gonna, I think, make a lot of historic firsts for political candidates for president, and it's another reason why I think he'll make an interesting impact on the race. And hey, he could have a shot. There's nothing to me that indicates Bobby Jindal could not win. We could talk about what his chances are. Maybe a couple percent, single digits. But look, he's got a shot just like anybody else. He's got his own style. And you know what? I tip my hat to him on some level because, he does pioneer. He's a bit different than your normal cookie cutter candidate, which would be, a white male, a Protestant Christian, married for 32 years, 3 kids, and an uncle who was a state senator or something. In Bobby's case, his parents were Indian immigrants from India. So he's first generation American citizen, U.S. citizen, right? And look how far he's come, folks. He was Oxford educated, and this is a guy with a serious drive and ambition from an early age. At age 24, he became state health secretary. All right, what were you doing at age 24? I don't know, maybe carrying around somebody's luggage and kind of giving him a quick smile to get maybe a good tip. I bet you even showed your teeth, because you got to, when you're grinding it out, when you're trying to work your way up. Look at Bobby. He's running laps around everybody. Now he doesn't even need his teeth to be shown. He just gives you the closed-lipped grin. Age 24, state health secretary. Age 32, barely old enough to be eligible. Got elected to Congress. Oh, man. Age 36, became the governor of Louisiana. So, and one other interesting thing is that he was raised Hindu, right? His parents both from India, common religion in that country. As a teenager, he converted to Catholicism, which usually works the other way around. A lot of teenagers convert out of Catholicism. Maybe they go Buddhist, maybe they go Unitarian Christian, but in Bobby's case, he experienced those sacramental rituals and the chanting in Latin, and it was just a magical, whimsical seduction. And so he's been ever since, and part of his brand what the pundits are saying, which is also, I consider news, what they say. It is news, whether or not it's silly or not, but they're saying that he's going to be playing the religious evangelical vote, whatever that means. Even though he's Catholic, which is, there's a whole evangelical Protestant Christian, and Catholics are a little more, whip yourself rather than, hey, convert your neighbor. But hey, that's a little heavy for this podcast. So that's all I got right now, folks. Bobby Jindal, off to I would say it's like one of those horses that gets kind of a sprain in their right back, thigh, kind of right as the race is beginning. But what's interesting? I will close on this fun fact of the day, which is that there's something that happens physiologically in a racehorse when it is running behind the other horses. There is a hormonal process that kicks in to urge that horse to pass the horse ahead of it and to surpass the top competitor. That doesn't happen on the level of the horse that's in first place. So to break that down, a little pressure from being right behind the best guy or the best gal, it gives an extra little boost of energy. So, hey, maybe Bobby's feeling that. In any case, he's welcome in the pack of what is now 13. He makes lucky or unlucky 13 of Republican candidates for president of the United States of America in 2016, which we will be covering extensively right here on the podcast for Presidential Speculatainment. Please check out the website where I've got some articles and some graphics and stuff. Presidentialspeculatainment.com, or subscribe. And if you give me a rating or review it, this podcast that is, that would be greatly appreciated. But at the very minimum, check out the next episode, because like I said, we're going to be out there. And by we, I mean me, Dan Winslow, and I will be back with the facts for you guys. So, until then, happy speculating.